Good morning and welcome to Fox 29 News Now. Developing this morning, an estate in Lower Merion Township explodes, leveling the home. The multi-million-dollar estate was undergoing major renovations at the time of the incident. Steve Willey is live in Gladwyne, Montgomery County, with more.
It was this tremendous explosion. It shook the whole house.
The neighbor next door started her week picking up pieces of what was the big house next door that blew up in a big blast just 12 hours before at 8 p.m. last night.
It was just this huge boom, and we could hear the windows rattling.
It was just enormous. It felt like something had blown up.
Across the street, the greenhouse on another neighbor's property had many of its glass panes blown out, where the man inside says he was watching TV with his parrot on his shoulder that wouldn't stop squawking for many minutes after feeling the blast just across the street.
It does appear to be a gas explosion at this point.
The man said it was like a snowstorm right after many minutes as the debris and dust kept coming down.
The bang lasts like 2 or 3 seconds, and it kind of resonated for 15 seconds.
This morning, wood fills many of the trees, looking like tree houses under construction. Coincidentally, the big 6-bedroom, 5.5-bath house was being reconstructed, which is why no one was living inside, so no one was killed or even hurt. The owner living in this guest house, safe enough away on this 2.5-acre property. A house that last sold for $3.5 million 11 years ago, looking like now it's in 3.5 million pieces. In Lower Merion, Steve Willey, Fox 29 News.
And it was said that people all over the area heard this explosion, even as far as Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Feasterville, PA as well. So it's quite a blast, and it reached a lot of people throughout the area. A fast-moving fire swept through a popular farmers market in Delaware. Hundreds of crews battled the flames throughout the night in Newcastle County, but they couldn't save the building. Many people from the area are saddened. Lauren Johnson has more.
What a nasty Monday and an awful way to get the week started here in Newcastle County, Delaware. Take a look at the scene here behind me. Firefighters arrived here at 2 a.m. and they are still working to get this fire under control at Willey Farms. A tragic situation unfolding at around 2 a.m. this morning when the building caught fire, the north end of the building, but it quickly spread. Firefighters, of course, going right inside to battle the flames. When the roof partially collapsed, they were sent outside, and then a full roof collapse. About 90 minutes into the firefight, water becomes an issue. That's because this is situated in a rural part of the county, and that proved to be problematic for firefighters.
We are a rural fire department, rural fire district, so there is no hydrants here, so we have to bring all of our water in. We're shuttling water from the scene, going back to our firehouse. It's approximately 3.5 to 4 miles away from here. So they'll drop their load of water, fill the tankers up, go to the firehouse, fill up, come back, and that's called a shuttle operation, and that's what they're currently in the process of doing right now.
We do understand that one firefighter, 22 years old, from a neighboring fire company was injured earlier this morning. He suffered some difficulty breathing, and he also had an increased heart rate. He was taken to Christiana Medical Center to be looked at and make sure he was okay. This is really a sad situation with the holidays among us. A lot of families out here telling us their little ones used to come here ahead of Thanksgiving and Christmas because it was quite the festive place for this community. So a big loss for the people here in Townsend. But we do understand from the owners, they will rebuild. They said they will count on the community to help them get through this. But again, a tough morning for firefighters, the weather not proving to cooperate at all, and this fire being really difficult to put out this morning. Fire crews really owed a lot for how hard they had to work on the beginning of this work week. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lauren. It's a day before Election Day. Doug Luzader in Washington, D.C. joined Fox 29 Good Day this morning with more on what's at stake in the midterm elections.
7. Well, there are indications Democrats could seize control of at least the the House later, well, tomorrow, right? By 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll see.
In the meantime, pollsters are trying and hoping to avoid some of the mistakes of the past.
Well, okay. Doug Luzader in Washington, D.C. Doug?
Good morning. Yeah, because early voting has just changed everything, and we're seeing more and more people taking part in that. One thing seems almost certain, though. Turnout tomorrow looks like it's going to be very, very high.
Where do you begin? Where do you begin?
Where do you begin? Well, you can start with the fact that President Trump spent time campaigning in Tennessee, usually a safe state for Republicans, so it's clear many of these contests are going to be close.
This is really one of the most important elections that we will ever have the privilege of voting in and for. This is a big one.
Democrats are hoping to turn talk of a blue wave into a reality with a final boost from former President Obama.
Most importantly, the character of our nation is on the ballot.
Well, control of Congress is certainly on the ballot, and in the House, Democrats have an advantage. Early voting numbers in many states are through the roof, so much so that in these divisive times, there is one thing both sides can agree on. Early voting is a game changer.
Bigger almost everywhere. 37 states voting early, and we're going to have the biggest turnout in the midterm since 1966.
And that has left many pollsters scrambling because traditional exit polls, stopping people as they leave voting locations on Election Day, just won't show a complete picture anymore.
I have less confidence in polling numbers today than I've ever had.
In fact, here at Fox, they have just dropped exit polling this time around in favor of a big, comprehensive nationwide poll because exit polls just miss too many people. You miss all those folks that vote early and vote through absentee ballots.
So, Doug, you've been around this business a long time. This gigantic early voting turnout and a lot of people registering to vote for the first. What does that say to you? That it's blue people or red people?
Yeah, well, that's the big question. You know, first of all, you don't know how many of those people would have voted anyway.
Yeah.
And how many of those people are voting because they had the opportunity to vote early and use absentee ballots. You know, the polling that we've seen that really gets into voter preference and but in most places, Democrats have an edge on that.
Oh, we darn. Okay. Doug, we'll see you again tomorrow on the big day. By the way, you know we have different times when the polls open. New Jersey does it a little bit earlier. There you go. Pennsylvania, Delaware, 7 o'clock. But New Jersey, they like to get up earlier.
Yeah, 6 to 8 p.m. So make sure that you go out there and vote tomorrow. And, of course, we're going to remind you tomorrow as well.
I would imagine it might be one of our top stories tomorrow.
And I think it's going to be interesting because normally we have the camera there to see. And you always make fun of, oh, there's one. But I have a feeling tomorrow it's going to be different.
Here's a live look over the Benjamin Franklin Parkway here in Philadelphia. You can see the Art Museum in the background there. It's quite foggy, rainy, dreary day, 54 degrees with a low of 53. Tomorrow we're also expecting some rain, and I'll get you a look at this radar here. So as you can see, quite a lot of rain going through this morning, and this goes up to currently right now. But it looks like it's passing through. Give you a look at our 7-day. So tomorrow will be cloudy, 67 degrees, 53 low. Wednesday it'll be 60, partly cloudy with a low of 48 degrees. Thursday looks nice and sunny at 54, but there's also that wind chill in there. And Friday it looks like we're going to have some more rain. And the weekend looks pretty decent as of late. So stay tuned with us on Fox 29. Good day as we update you with all of the weather throughout the week and for tonight at 5 o'clock. And back to another clip from our Good Day Philadelphia. Our Dr. Oz spoke with Alex and Mike with some horrible news. Your favorite side dish may come with an unwanted side effect. Dr. Oz joined Fox 29 Good Day to talk about bacon and the scary truth about it. Here's a clip of that video this morning.
All right, let's get back to this bacon thing. We talk about, we have bacon segments on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Oz is going to join us now.
Because it's a breakfast staple. A lot of people like to have bacon with their eggs.
Sure. Now, well, first of all, here's a clip from Dr. Oz's show.
Bacon is the rock star frontman of meat. Everything's better with bacon. And like all rock stars, bacon has no shortage of screaming fans.
I am having a bacon sushi roll and a bacon old-fashioned.
I'm having chicken fried bacon.
I'm eating a bacon chicken pot pie, and it's absolutely wonderful.
But bacon, like most bad boy rockers, has also gotten itself into trouble.
All right, Dr. Oz, welcome back to Philly, first of all. Well, just tell us what the problem is. Do we need to limit the amount of bacon? Is that the deal?
Please don't tell us we have to cut it out of our diet.
I would never say that to you, Alex, and Mike wouldn't listen anyway. Right. The reality is that there have been some large groups that have looked at bacon and cancer. And the World Health Organization in particular had a group of experts from 10 different countries come together, and they believe there's enough evidence that bacon could cause cancer, especially things like colon cancer, that they actually ruled it as a carcinogen, a probable carcinogen, which makes it equivalent to a lot of other things we worry about. But the real issue is not that, because that news has been out there for a bit, and we think it's because of nitrates, although we don't really know for sure. Nitrates are what's used to preserve the bacon. But there was an article in The Guardian recently that the bacon industry knew about this problem and has been aware of studies in animals primarily since the 70s, and they didn't do anything about it. Maybe there was a cover-up. So we're partly evaluating that. I got to say, Parma, which is the ham from Italy, they actually years ago took the nitrates out of their process because they were worried about some of this data. So some manufacturers have gotten concerned enough to act. The question is, what should you do as a consumer? Because I know you're not giving up your bacon. And I'll give you the numbers real quick. It's basically 2 bacon a day is your limit, which is not a tiny amount of bacon. That means because you're not going to eat bacon every single day. On a rainy day like today, you're, I hope, not taking time making bacon. You got to get off to work. So if you just add your bacon up and make it a primarily weekend dish, you could have a couple strips of bacon on a weekend and not cause problems to yourself and stay below that limit that experts are worried about.
That sounds like a fair compromise.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm going to admit something here. I could get rid of all the bacon in my life and I wouldn't even care. I think bacon, whoever started this bacon industry and bacon ice cream, bacon
cookies.
Enough already. Do we really love bacon that much?
Well, like I told you, my grandfather eats 2 strips of bacon every day. He has to start his day with that.
Darn healthy.
I think part of the issue of bacon is part of this big keto movement, which we've got a show on later in the week, on Wednesday. And as I get more into keto, I realize why it's so popular. You look at these stories of people who are eating all the foods they like, including bacon, and put the cancer risk aside. You can eat other kinds of meats and proteins and get there as well with the keto diet. But you're primarily eating fats and protein, not much carbs. These people lose a lot of weight. And foods like bacon have bounced back because it turns out that they're probably less of a problem for your waistline than the bread, the toast that you're having next to it.
Okay, we'll see you this afternoon, Dr. Oz. First of all, I just want to say, I love this whole infinity Dr. Oz look you got going with the monitors behind you.
You can't have just one of you.
No, I can see forever.
This is actually my studio. This is the control room of the studio. We don't usually do it here, but the elections are coming up tomorrow, so everyone was really busy, so we actually hijacked my own studio. So you're behind the scenes here at the Dr. Oz show.
That's great. That is very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Oz.
To infinity and beyond. We'll be watching this afternoon, Dr. Oz. Thank you for that.
In just a short time, Senator Menendez will attend a press conference with Governor Murphy, Senator Booker, and urban mayors about what's at stake for New Jersey's cities. This will be in Heritage Village, Elizabeth, New Jersey. So that will be coming up shortly. Ahead of the midterm elections tomorrow, the Justice Department just released today its Election Day plans for the November 6, 2018 general election. The Civil Rights Division will monitor compliance with the federal voting rights laws by deploying personnel to 35 jurisdictions in 19 states. Voting rights are constitutional rights, and they are part of what it means to be an American, said Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The Department of Justice has been entrusted with an indispensable role in securing these rights for the people of this nation. This year, we are using every lawful tool that we have, both civil and criminal, to protect the rights of millions of Americans to cast their vote unimpeded at one of more than 170,000 precincts across America. Citizens of America control this country through their selection of governmental officials at the ballot box. Likewise, fraud in the voting process will not be tolerated. Fraud also corrupts the integrity of the ballot. So that comes from a release from the Department of Justice today. This is a look over Miami Beach, Florida, where police have responded to a suspicious package found at a U.S. postal office in Miami Beach. They responded to the Normandy branch post office at 71st Street just before 9 a.m. Monday this morning. According to police, the 7100 block of Carlisle Ave, along with the adjacent parking lot, has been closed. And this looks like it's actually a video of this package exploding that they are playing back for us. Once again, we're just waiting for Senator Bob Menendez at a press conference with Governor Murphy and Senator Booker and urban mayors about what's at stake for New Jersey's cities. This is going to be coming up soon, and we are just waiting on that to get started. So bear with us as we look over Old City, Philadelphia here, right above the station. You can see the Ben Franklin Bridge right out there in the distance. It's a dreary day, and hopefully it gets better as the week goes on. Let's jump over to Twitter, where Donald Trump is currently tweeting. This was 3 minutes ago. Law enforcement has been strongly notified to watch closely for any illegal voting which may take place in Tuesday's elections or early voting. Anyone caught will be subject to the maximum criminal penalties allowed by law. Thank you, says Donald Trump. Trump also tweets this a half hour ago. So funny to see the CNN fake suppression polls and false rhetoric. Watch for real results Tuesday. We are lucky CNN's ratings are so low. Don't fall for the suppression game. Go out and vote. Remember, we now have perhaps the greatest economy, jobs in the history of our country. He also tweets, remember, Florida, I have been president of the United States for almost 2 years. During that time, Senator Bill Nelson didn't call me once. Rick Scott called constantly, requesting dollars plus for Florida. Did a great job on hurricanes. Vote Scott. So I guess that's his endorsement to Rick Scott. And that is a look at President Trump's Twitter today. And now it looks like the press conference with Governor Murphy and Bob Menendez is starting up in New Jersey right now. So we'll take a live look at that and listen in for the press conference to start in just a few short minutes.
So good morning. I would like to thank everyone for coming. I especially want to thank our seniors who live in the building who came here. I want to thank Councilman Carlos Torres and Councilman Kevin Canary and Maria Carvalho, the president of our Board of Education, who are here. And I especially want to thank all of my fellow mayors. I'm Chris Bolwage. I'm the mayor here in the city of Elizabeth. I want to thank Chris Foglio, the owner of the building and the Hope 6 project. Chris, thank you for making the room available. I appreciate it. I also want to thank all of my fellow mayors who are here to support Senator Bob Menendez's re-election tomorrow, as well as Senator Cory Booker and Governor Phil Murphy who are here. You know, oftentimes I'm asked as I go out and I campaign and I say, you know, why is it important to have Bob Menendez back in the U.S. Senate tomorrow? And we're here for a reason, because this property was built originally in 1940s and it was outdated public housing. And when the Clinton administration had a Hope 6 program, the city of Elizabeth was a small, mid-sized city. Would we qualify for Hope 6? So we put a team of people together, and Chris Foglio and the city council. We went to then Congressman Bob Menendez, and we asked him, would the city of Elizabeth qualify for Hope 6? And he said, well, let's give it a shot. Write the grant. So we write a grant, and we ask for $30 million in order to tear down Pioneer Homes in McGlory Manor and build new housing for the residents of the city of Elizabeth. It was Bob Menendez who led the efforts in order to make sure that the city of Elizabeth could get in front of then Secretary of Housing Andrew Cuomo and make sure that we had an opportunity to compete for that grant. We spent literally the July of 1997 in Washington, D.C., because Congressman Menendez was extremely helpful in making sure that we had a shot. We were awarded that grant. And as a congressman then said, and as he says now, not only did we change the face of public housing in the city of Elizabeth, we changed the lives of the people who live in public housing in the city of Elizabeth because of Congressman Menendez. Whether we needed help with more police in the 1990s, he was there to support us. Whether we needed a fire grant in the last couple of years, he was there. When it came time to pass the Zadroga Act, which helped our police and firemen who fought at the World Trade Center in order to stem off the health problems they have, it was Senator Menendez who made sure that bill got through the Congress and the president eventually signed it. That's why I'm supporting Bob Menendez for re-election tomorrow. You're going to hear from some of my fellow mayors, and they can all tell a story on why they're supporting Bob Menendez. We need all of you, whatever the weather, to come out and vote for Bob Menendez on column A tomorrow. Thank you.
Andre? Good morning. Good morning. I'm honored to bring greetings from Patterson with 1T. You know, it's often been said that elections have consequences. Let's talk about how consequential this election is if we elect the wrong Bob. Because the wrong Bob is wrong for all of us, especially in the urban areas. And the reason why this is the right Bob is because we know you were a straight-A student, Senator, but he got an F from the NRA, and that's a badge of honor for him to wear. I'll take that F any day. We all know we have to stem the flow of guns into our urban areas. Senseless violence, and Senator Booker, you can attest to that. I didn't recognize you at first. He dropped 50 pounds. Look at this man. Dear Lord. He looks good. I'll get your secret a little later. But nevertheless, senseless violence, our homicide rates, and we've seen a historic low throughout the country. We have to maintain that, right, Mayor? Mayors? We have to maintain that level. And with the right Bob, if we elect him, that'll happen. He can stand up to the NRA and continue to receive that high mark of that F, which I'm sure he's very proud of. So today we stand here saying that we are against guns getting into our urban areas. We have to stem the flow. And we're out here for the right Bob. And to prove that hate does have an expiration date. It's November 6th, 2018. It's more than just Election Day. It's Redemption Day when we re-elect the right Bob. Thank you very much. 50 pounds. Lost weight, but didn't lose the fire in the belly.
Great. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
No, you can do better than that. Good morning, city of Elizabeth.
Good morning.
I bring you greetings from the great city of Camden, the city that is rising, the city that is seeing amazing changes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because for many, many years, this gentleman right here, our dear senator, has been by our side. For all of those that know, the city of Camden has seen some tough times in its years. But whenever we needed something, we picked up the phone and we called Senator Bob Menendez. Bob Menendez came through for our police department when we decided to make the changes necessary. The funding from the federal government for more police on the street came with the support of Bob Menendez. When we had the worst dumping site in southern New Jersey, Camden Lab site, we walked with Senator Bob Menendez, and shortly thereafter, we were granted a grant to clean that site up that will be the new home of the Whitman Park Football League and Little League. I want to give you a round of applause for that support. Our public housing, which saw its challenges over the years, we have finally transformed our public housing to second to none in this country because Bob Menendez was always on our side. Bob, you have the full support of Southern New Jersey, the great city of Camden, and this mayor. And I want to tell you something as a Latino. My parents being from Puerto Rico, when Hurricane Maria, I was just in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, when Hurricane Maria hit the great island of Puerto Rico, Bob Menendez and the delegation from New Jersey said presente. And they said they will fight so that we are not treated as second-class citizens, but as residents and individuals of this country. And that was Bob Menendez that led that delegation. Yeah? When this individual that's in the White House was shooting paper towels at our people, Bob Menendez was fighting in D.C. to make sure that FEMA gave us the money necessary so that we can rebuild Puerto Rico. And I was just there a few weeks ago. And Puerto Rico is a beautiful island today because of the green, lush mountains and all, but we still have a lot of work to do. And unless we change, we jump on that blue wave and change D.C., the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico are somewhat questionable. But I want everyone in this room to realize that this election will be the most important election in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Think about it. There are thousands of Latinos that are walking from country to country to look for a better opportunity, as we all did at one point. And they're going to be greeted by, and I quote the president, if they throw rocks at you, treat it as a bullet and you shoot back. How inhumane is that? There is barbed wire across the borders in the southern part of this country. We are a party of inclusion, we are a party of love, and we are a party of unity. So I trekked up here 80 miles this morning to be standing here representing South Jersey to let you know that we are hip to hip tomorrow and make sure whether it rains or it doesn't, every single vote comes out for our column 2, but our Democratic ticket supporting none other than Bob Menendez and all our Democrats. Thank you, God bless you, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Mayor Ross Baraka.
All right.
Good morning. Just want to thank Mayor Bowledge, first of all, allowing us to be in the great city of Elizabeth, our sister city. Staying here with all of my colleagues across the state of New Jersey and, dealing with problems that are very similar in our cities. Glad to be here with the governor of the great state of New Jersey, one of the best governors we've had, and with the two best senators in the nation, Senator Bob Menendez and Senator Cory Booker. We probably have the privilege of having, like no other state, a Latino and African-American United States Senator. We are so excited to have them both. And as was said probably a million times before I got up here, that this election is extremely, extremely important. I've been telling people as much as I possibly can that we need Bob Menendez. We need him now. We need him yesterday. We need him tomorrow. And we cannot falter on this, not one iota. We cannot allow the lies and the craziness and the cloudiness that's being put out here, because we know who the author of confusion is. We don't follow or listen to the author of confusion. We follow our gut, our heart, what we know is right and what's good for our people. We know that we need affordable housing. We know that we need health care. We know that we need increasing minimum wage. You know, we know we want everybody to be treated equally despite their language, their color, their religion, the person they love, right? We know we want all of these things, and we know the only person that's going to give us that in this election is Senator Bob Menendez. Right? This is a referendum on Donald Trump. This is our opportunity now to say that we not only just opposed to what Trump and his folks are doing, that we are for Bob Menendez, we are for the Democratic Party, and we're going to vote as much as we can to continue to push our state forward, our cities forward, and this country forward. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to pray when I wake up. I'm going to hit the gym. Then I'm going to go to Greater Abyssinia Baptist Church, hug a few of the poll workers, and I'm going to push the button at the top for Senator Bob Menendez. And I'm going to go all the way down the line and vote for all the other Democrats. Then I'm going to go home and pray again that the fruit that is bared, that I put there, that something comes out of it that benefits us all. So I urge everyone here, and the sound of my voice, to go out tomorrow, vote Democrat, but make sure you vote for Bob Menendez. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Governor Phil Murphy.
Yeah. Chris. Thank you, man. Thank you, Mayor Bolwich, for hosting us so graciously. To all the mayors here who are extraordinary, thank you for your service. Chris Folio, thanks for having us in this beautiful center. All the folks here who live here, God bless you all, and thank you for having us. It is such an honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with so many of the mayors that I stand with every single day and work with, as we all do, to make this state stronger, fairer, and one that works for every one of our families. Let's be perfectly clear. More than just a seat in the United States Senate is on the ballot tomorrow. So is the very future of our cities and our people. We have a tremendous team working for us day in and day out with Senators Bob Menendez and Senator Cory Booker. As we work to rebuild our cities into engines of growth and economic opportunity, we need both of them fighting for our priorities in Washington, both of them. I look at the mayors up here with me today, a group of friends, and I see so many of our partners in this effort. And I know, too, that they see Senator Menendez as the partner they need to help keep in the Senate. It's a very simple premise. Donald Trump doesn't care about our cities beyond his ability to make a few bucks on real estate deals. He disparages our urban communities. He is openly hostile to our diversity. He has attempted to marginalize our residents. He has blocked our ability to extend mass transit to grow economic opportunity. He stands in the way of common sense gun safety, of higher wages and affordable health care. As a state, we're fighting back. And we have one of the fiercest fighters anywhere in our corner, Senator Bob Menendez. Right? Our families know they can count on him. Bob's never forgotten where he came from or who he's fighting for. Long before he was our senior senator, long before he was the highest-ranking Hispanic American in Congress or the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he was the son of Cuban immigrants who came to America in search of a better life. He knows both the American struggle and the American dream. Bob got involved in politics for the right reasons, to fight injustice in his community. When low-income students couldn't afford the books for his high school honors program, Bob ran for school board and won at the wise old age of 19. When Union City was calling out for honest leadership, Bob Menendez ran for mayor and he won, and he restored integrity to City Hall. He has fought for Hudson County's working families in the State Assembly and State Senate and in the House of Representatives, and for all of us in the U.S. Senate. Every step of the way, he has committed his public life to giving New Jersey's working families, women, seniors,
and students a fair shot at a good education, a good job, and a better life. He fought to increase Pell Grants and financial aid because he knows what it's like to depend on them, because he did. He's worked hard to bring federal dollars back into our cities and towns because he knows investing in mass transit, in public safety, and in sustainability are the building blocks of economic opportunity and stronger communities. There are few in Washington with his record of fighting for our values and getting things done. He helped pass the Autism Cares Act. He authored portions of the Affordable Care Act. He worked across the aisle to shepherd bipartisan immigration reform through the Senate. He has fought for a higher minimum wage. He has been a strong voice for the Gateway Tunnel. He has stood up to the NRA in the fight for stronger gun safety laws. He's fought for vital Superfund and brownfields funding so we can create new opportunities and turn the reminders of yesterday's industry into places for tomorrow's families. He's been a champion all the way for clean air and clean water. Pick any major policy issue of our time, and the chances are that Bob Menendez has not only been right there, but been a leader fighting for New Jersey's priorities and New Jersey's values. Now with Donald Trump in the White House and his Republican enablers on Capitol Hill working overtime to undo everything we stand for, from their efforts to gut the Affordable Care Act for our families, to writing a tax plan that hurts our middle class and those striving to join the middle class, to trying to ram through Supreme Court justices who will tear down vital protections our people depend on. For all of us, his leadership and determination have never been needed more. Donald Trump has gone around the country telling audiences to look at their ballots tomorrow and imagine that he is on it. On this one, he's right. He's absolutely right. That's exactly what we need to do. Here in New Jersey, that's our choice. We could vote for a senator who will stand up to Donald Trump, or we could vote for a senator who will do what Donald Trump tells him to do. That's not a hard call, is it, folks? Having Bob Menendez as our voice in the U.S. Senate has never mattered more. His tenacity and drive have never been more needed. Tomorrow we will send a strong message to the rest of the country. Tomorrow we will say that New Jersey's values matter. And we will do that by re-electing our senior senator, Bob Menendez. How lucky are we that we have two extraordinary U.S. senators who bring different talents, and when combined together, we have the 1 + 1 = 3 result that every other state in the nation would die for. It is my great honor to introduce the junior senator from the great state of New Jersey, the one and only Senator Cory Booker.
So first of all, I want to thank you very much. So I love you. And let me start by thanking the residents here, the men and women here, for allowing us in your home, in virtually your living room. Thank you for that. I want to thank our host mayor, who is an extraordinary mayor, one of my mentor mayors when I was a mayor. I want to thank him. And I just want to thank this incredible group that's assembled here. As a former mayor, this is the power in New Jersey. These women and men that are surrounding me right now are extraordinary, extraordinary leaders, and I'm grateful that they would stand with my colleague, Bob Menendez. I'm going to be very supportive and very succinct. Of course, I want to recognize the governor he literally is like the James Brown of American governors. He is the hardest working governor I've ever seen. I know why he now wears a suit and his tennis shoes, because he is always running for the people and never running from a fight, running to the fight. So I'm grateful for him. I'm just going to be very short and very succinct, because I want to say this to folk in New Jersey. Just let's make it clear. I stand with Menendez. I stand with Menendez. I stand with Menendez. And if you stand with me, if you believe in me, if you support me as your senator, then I need you to stand with Menendez, to support Menendez, to believe in Menendez. Because if you like the job I'm doing, you have to understand that I come with a partnership. I stand with Menendez. We stand together. If you believe in me, if you support me, you will tomorrow come out and vote for and stand with and support my senior senator, my friend, my partner in all the work I do for New Jersey. Stand with me in standing with Bob Menendez. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the current and next senator from the state of New Jersey, Bob Menendez.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me thank Heritage Village for letting us into your home and for joining us and for having the press invade you all. So thanks to Heritage and all of our residents here. Let me thank our host mayor, Chris Bowledge. Chris and I ran in 1992 together, and I was running for the House of Representatives. He was running for mayor. It's been a great 26-year relationship. When I look at the city and travel through it, and Chris highlighted some of it, I've seen our partnership together in ways that changes people's lives. And that's what this is all about. So, Mayor, thank you so much. I appreciate the friendship. Let me thank all of my fellow mayors. I'm going to say my fellow mayors because I was a mayor for 6 years. Once a mayor, you're always a mayor, and you never forget what it's all about. This is the toughest job in America, being a mayor. I said that to Bill Clinton when he got elected president and I got elected to the House, and he came in to say hello to all the new elected members, and he came up to me and he said, Mayor, what do you think about this job? And I said, Mr. President, with all due respect, other than your job, being mayor is still the toughest job in America. And that's true. And that's true. People may not know who their legislator is, their freeholder is, they may not even know who their congressman is, or maybe even their U.S. senator, but they know who the mayor is. And they got plenty to tell the mayor as well. So I appreciate all of our mayors and the work they do every day to change the lives for the better of the residents of their community. It's a great privilege to be the elected mayor of your community. You're chosen by your neighbors and your family and your friends to hopefully change the course of events to them for the better. And so my thanks to all these incredible mayors. I could go through almost each one and talk about some of our accomplishments together, but that would take far too long. So thank you to all the mayors and a couple of the council presidents who are here representing their communities as well. I'm thrilled to have a true partner in this great governor. You know, a lot of the things that we do in Washington, we can only bring successful resources to the state when either the state matches it or does the right thing in its engagement, in its applications, in its advocacy. And I have to be honest with you. You know, I was beside myself when the late Senator Frank Lautenberg and I bought billions of dollars for a mass transit project, the ARC Tunnel, only to have Governor Christie cancel it. I was beside myself when we advocated for federal education dollars in the race to the top, only to have Governor Christie's department never make the application correctly. And the list goes on and on. This is a governor that is working with Corey and I and the congressional delegation and Common Cause to make a better future for New Jersey. And when we have a partnership like that, the sky's the limit. So, Governor, thank you very much for your leadership. I appreciate it. And you just heard the shortest speech Cory Booker's ever given. But I love it. And he has been such a tremendous partner for the people of New Jersey in the United States Senate since he got there. He's an exceptional human being. He reached out to the other side. We talked a little bit about how can you work in the Senate. And then he reached out for the other side, reached out to Republicans to try to get things done in Common Cause and had some successes. And so he shows he's capable and willing to be bipartisan. But at the same time, he's willing to stand alone for principle, as we saw him at the Senate Judiciary Committee. And that was an exceptional moment that showed us what true principle and courage is all about when he stood up to have the American people know what truly was in these documents. So, Corey, thank you very much for your leadership, for your friendship, for your advocacy. We appreciate it. And so let me just say we're thrilled to have the support of all of the mayors across New Jersey in this campaign, from Hoboken to Hillside, from Perth Amboy to Patterson, from Newark to Camden, and everywhere in between. This election, it has never mattered more for New Jersey's mayors to have a senator in their corner. Because as a former mayor, I've never forgotten how tough the job is. It's a job that embodies what Tip O'Neill meant when he said, all politics is local. It's about keeping our streets safe. It's about making sure every child gets a fair shot. It's about providing reliable services to your residents, from the senior who depends on public transit to the single mom who needs affordable childcare. As you face these challenges and more, you deserve a federal government that works for you, not against you. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is waging a war in our cities, and my Republican opponent will be just another rubber stamp for the Trump agenda. As a greedy drug company CEO, you can prove that he's an expert in price gouging cancer patients, defrauding Medicare, and stashing corporate profits overseas. But he was never a mayor, and he certainly isn't going to fight against Trump's assault on our towns and cities. Consider Trump's affordable, or should I say unaffordable, housing policies. And I do appreciate our host. She and her company have been the largest, probably, developer of affordable housing in our state, to give people high-quality housing in a place that they can call home, and that we should expect. So thank you. To raise rent on nearly 300,000 low-income people in New Jersey by an average of roughly 20%. 20%. Ben Carson, the Secretary of HUD, said, well, this is going to liberate them. Mr. Secretary, you're going to bury them. You're not going to liberate them. A 20% increase, that's 6 times more than the wage growth seen by hourly workers in recent years. We're talking about the people I grew up in Union City with. Dishwashers, home health aides, retail clerks, folks who can't afford to spend 5% more on rent, let alone 20%. What kind of government hands trillions of dollars to the 1/10 of 1%?
Okay, it looks like we lost that shot there, but I just want to take you over to U.S. Representative Ron DeSantis, who's holding a rally in Orlando right now. Here's a live look at that.
But we have, and I know you do, then the one thing you can do today is make sure that everyone you know and everyone that thinks like us, make sure they show up tomorrow and vote. We have a great team of candidates for federal office. We want to win that Senate race for Rick Scott. Right? He's doing a great job as a candidate. He's done a great job as our governor. Mike Miller's running here. We desperately want to get him in Washington, D.C. We have a great statewide ticket. Obviously, Jimmy Petronis running for re-election. Ashley Moody for Attorney General. Matt Caldwell for Agriculture Commissioner. He just told you everything the Agriculture Commissioner does. Do you do the elevators? No? Sometimes. All right. That's important. I'm telling you. And, of course, the governor's race. And the choice could not be clearer. Okay? Especially here in Central Florida. Everybody in Central Florida at some point lives somewhere else, right? A lot of times, most of the time. You know why they left those other places? Because of the policies that Andrew Gillum now wants to bring to the state of Florida. Of high taxes and regulations and onerous government and parents not being able to pick where their kids go to school. We're not going backwards. And we are most certainly not going to become a state like the state that people are leaving. That's not going to happen, but that's up to you. You have to turn out and vote. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish because I want to introduce to you someone who's an incredible friend and has been on the trail here for days and has actually been here many, many times. Jennifer Gonzalez is the congresswoman that speaks on behalf of the state of Puerto Rico in our Congress. And she's a phenomenal spokesperson. Y le damos las gracias a Jennifer por estar aquí hoy en una elección sumamente importante. una elección que se va a decidir basado en quién vote mañana. Mañana es una decisión sumamente importante para el futuro de este estado, porque hay que escoger entre un candidato, en Ron DeSantis, que quiere seguir el progreso y los avances que hemos hecho aquí, y enfrentar los problemas que tiene este estado, pero no hacerlo imponiendo las ideas de otros lugares y de otros estados que las personas están abandonando, lugares de altos impuestos y de regulaciones, y lugares donde los padres no pueden escoger donde sus hijos van a una escuela. Y es por eso que le damos las gracias a Jennifer por estar aquí, y le damos las gracias por la campaña que ella ha hecho. Y ahora le quiero presentar, now I want to introduce to you Jennifer Gonzalez, my friend, our sister, and a great spokesperson who's going to introduce our next governor.
How you doing, folks? I'm happy to be here. I'm a Puerto Rican representing 3.2 American citizens living on the island. And let me tell you something. If there's someone that has been working for the Puerto Rican and Hispanic community in Congress, when he was there, it was Ron DeSantis. He believed in us. He was not just a veteran. He was a fighter. And he's still a fighter for all of us. And that's what we want for the state of Florida. We want a person that can keep taxes low and jobs high. We need a person that keeps his word. And what you see is what you get with Ron DeSantis. He's a true friend, and he always is committed to our veteran communities. He's always committed to the Hispanics. And here now in the state of Florida, 16% of the votes for tomorrow are going to be Hispanics. We don't want here the policies that are being made in Venezuela. We don't want here what has been happening in Nicaragua. We don't want here what is happening in Cuba. That's the reason we need to put as the next governor of the state of Florida a man like Ron DeSantis. I've been here for a few days, and as you may know.
And I do want to get back to that, but Bob Menendez is back up and wrapping up, so I'll just catch the end of this, and then we can go back over to the Ron DeSantis rally in Orlando.
It's now November 2018, and the only thing that Trump has built are artificial roadblocks for the new Hudson tunnels and the new Portal Bridge. Every time a New Jersey Transit rider gets stuck on that bridge, you should really thank Donald Trump. Because let me tell you something, we fought to get a new gateway tunnel and new bridge. I got the beginnings of monies with Corey for a down payment on the Portal Bridge. This is something that should be a project of national significance embraced by the president. This is a region that generates 20% of GDP, the entire country. It's a no-brainer. But Trump is in the middle of doing everything it can to stop us from achieving Gateway. And we're going to make it happen because even though he said he wouldn't sign a budget that had any money for Gateway, Corey and I got $500 million for Gateway, and we're going to make that project a reality. So from housing to transit, from tax policy to health care, President Trump and my opponent Bob Eugen share the same morally bankrupt ideas. And that shouldn't be a surprise. Trump is famous for getting rich by ripping off contractors and evading taxes. Bob Eugen may sell being famous for price gouging patients and stashing corporate profits overseas. That may work for a company, but it's no way to run a city, and it's certainly no way to run a country. That's why the stakes in this election could not be higher. The next 48 hours are about one thing. If we want to change the course of events in our country, if we want to make for a better life in the communities that all these mayors represent and that the governor represents statewide along with Corey and I, if we want to have a check and balance on an administration that is unbridled at this time, they have it all. They have the House of Representatives. They have majorities in the Senate. There are no checks and balances. And when people ask me, is Trump on the agenda? Well, yeah, he's taken a hit on us in so many ways. Took a hit on us when he wants to undo our health care. Took a hit on us when he capped our state and local property taxes. 1.8 million New Jerseyans are going to get an $8,000 hit. Took a hit on us when he wants to drill off the shore of New Jersey. Well, he's coming after us. We're coming after him tomorrow. And with your help, And with your help, we're going to have a victory. Now, I don't know about you, but when I want to move into the future, I put my car into D for Democrat, and I drive into the future. When I want to go backwards, I put it into R for a Republican, and boy, do I go backwards. This is about going into the future. This is about having a new day. One day, 48 hours, to have a check on Trump. One day to change the course of event. One day to stop Trump. One day for victory. And with your help, we're going to make it happen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming to the city of Elizabeth. I want to thank Senator Menendez. And please vote column A for us in Elizabeth.
Thank you all.
And now back over to Orlando at the Ron DeSantis rally.
Early and absentee votes that I think if Republicans vote and vote in big numbers on Tuesday, we will win all of these races. And my race is obviously important because, you know, you need to have a good leader as governor. We need to build off the success Florida's had. We need to protect our economic success and build upon that. I'm the only candidate of the two of us that's ever done anything other than politics. You know, I'm a veteran. I served in Iraq. I've been a prosecutor. I've worked hard, obviously, in the Congress to put taxpayers first. And so we're trying to show people there's a difference in leadership, but also. Okay, yeah. I'm also the only candidate of the two that is not going to raise taxes in Florida. And I'm the only one of the two that can say, I've never had an FBI agent, undercover FBI agent, give me any money. So we need your support. If you voted, great, but the job's not done. I mean, we need to get everyone out to vote. This is an important election. They're all important. You know, I worked very hard for Governor Scott's re-election in 2014, so I think he's done a good job. And I didn't think Chris would. But, you know, had Chris gotten elected, he goes with the wind. I mean, if people had to do, he could even turn to be a Republican again. He wouldn't have done a good job. But I think Andrew Gillum, because he is a committed leftist ideologue. He's funded by Soros. He's funded by Tom Steyer. He is, you know, that's just who he is. So if he gets in there, Florida's trajectory is going to change dramatically. And I don't think we want to stop our economic momentum. I don't think we want to go down the direction of forfeiting a lot of the advantages that we have. I mean, I think our economic future is very bright, but you have to have low taxes. That's what makes everything tick here. Gillum wants a 40% tax increase. That will cost jobs in the state of Florida. It will cause businesses to leave Florida, and it will stop the flow of investment coming into our state, which has been tremendous, and I think going forward can be historic. So we can't go down that road. But here's the thing. That tax increase, that's the only one he's admitting to you he's going to pursue. But in fact, this is a guy that's always wanted higher taxes. If you look at what he's done, higher property taxes in Tallahassee, his agenda, when it was done analyzed by the James Madison Institute, a nonpartisan think tank, they said that in order to pay for it, you would need to either raise the sales tax to 38%, or you'd have to do an income tax in the state of Florida. That's the only way you can pay for it. You go down that road, we're done as a state economically. So as your governor, we will not raise taxes, and we will never have an income tax. Don't worry about that. We have an opportunity to restore the rule of law to our judiciary. As governor, I will have 3 appointments to the state Supreme Court within a month of taking office. That is replacing 3 liberal activist jurists. So I will appoint solid constitutionalists to the court who understand the proper role is to actually apply the laws it's actually written, apply the Constitution that's written, not to rewrite it, not to impose their personal philosophy on the rest of the state, not to legislate from the bench. And when I do that successfully, within 1 month of taking office, we will have ended judicial activism in Florida for a generation. It's a huge deal. We'll protect your individual rights, including your Second Amendment freedoms, which Andrew Gillum does not respect. He wants to ban the vast majority of firearms sold in Florida. He cannot be trusted to defend your Second Amendment rights. I also think that you should be able to have your health care freedom protected. And so if you're working hard for a job and you're acquiring benefits, I don't think the government has any right to take that away from you. Andrew Gillum does. He supports the Bernie Sanders radical Medicare for All proposal. And what that means, it's funny they call it Medicare for All because Medicare for seniors gets eliminated and seniors get put on a government-run plan. Medicare Advantage gone. They get put on a government-run plan. You get insurance through your job. You're earning those benefits. Those are taken away from you. They're rendered illegal, and you have to go on a government-run plan. In fact, every form of health insurance is abolished except for the VA and the Indian Health Service. So I guess that means Elizabeth Warren will have a 1,000% chance of being able to. But here's the thing. It would cause massive tax increases. It would cause us to.
And that's all we're going to have for today on Fox 29 News Now. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter for all the latest and breaking news. You can also catch our broadcasts at 5, 6, 10, and 11 tonight.